All right, hey guys. I wanted to hop on here real quick just to give my first impressions, my first thoughts. Reeling back from Spider-Man No Way Home, just came out December 17th, and yeah, I just watched this with my wife, and let me tell you, this is personally my favorite Spider-Man movie. Now, this is going to be filled with spoilers, just kind of giving my first raw thoughts and impressions on the movie, and wow. Um, there's just so much to unpack here. I mean, I'll try to go in order of what happened in the movie, but like I said, I just wanted to give my quick thoughts. Obviously, we start the movie off seeing right away there's some real world repercussions, with everybody that is involved in Peter Parker's life, everyone that he's interacted with. There's real repercussions of his friends not getting into college, Happy Hogan having to get a really good lawyer, just them basically having to move in with Happy to get away, out of their apartment that they were in just because it wasn't safe with all the stuff going on. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they showed that to show that there's some real world, consequences to being a superhero, and not just a superhero, but being framed for such a big thing. And I'm really glad that they sort of showed that off in the movie, and that they, that you kind of get that sense of realism right away. And then I had a feeling that they were going to have Matt Murdock, or I forgot the real actor's name, but the Daredevil from the Netflix shows. I had a feeling that they were going to have him in there as Peter's lawyer. And it's interesting that he was only there for like one scene, but he was phenomenal in that scene, and that was probably the best way to introduce him to the MCU. Moving forward, I don't know if he's really going to be in the MCU, but anyways, that was really great to see him. And basically, moving forward, Peter gets the idea to go to Doctor Strange, and I loved how it was kind of jarring to me how he just revealed that he wasn't the Sorcerer Supreme anymore, that was Wong now. That was kind of jarring, but it kind of made sense, with him being gone for 5 years. Somebody had to step in and basically take his place, and it's just funny how it all worked out. It's one of those things that you just didn't expect, and it's jarring at first, but if you think about it, it logistically makes sense, at least to me. So I thought that was really interesting, and obviously the spell goes wrong, and I like how they made it to where everybody that knows uh, Peter Parker is Spider-Man comes basically into our universe. So I like how it was very specific to that, because the trailers made it seem a little bit more generic, and they didn't kind of dive into that. So I thought that was really good, how they did that. Yeah, I mean, I loved seeing Doc Ock. I loved seeing, um, the Goblin back. I really loved that, and I think they handled that really well. Um, and I'm probably skipping over some stuff, but basically, when they get to um, Happy's condo with all the bad guys, basically, um, they Peter's really trying to help them out. At first he starts off and he helps out Doc Ock, makes him good again. And then I had a feeling at the moment that Doc Ock was like, you know um how does it feel to get rid of that? How does it feel knowing that you're going to get rid of that bad side of you, or no more bad half or whatever? And just kind of that moment of hesitation when Osborn answered him was like, okay, something's going to go bad here, and it's going to be Osborn. And I loved the tension building up in that scene with Electro's thing on his chest. I thought that was really cool. And yeah, I mean, just that whole fight scene was crazy. I love the fight choreography between Peter and Lizard and Peter and Goblin. Just that was some insane stuff there. And you can kind of really feel that Peter feels like he messed up. Even before we get to the next scene with Aunt May, you can feel just during the fight that he feels like he messed up. He was trying to do something really good and he messed up. But yeah, I was not expecting Aunt May to die. Neither was my wife. And yeah, we were both, you know, a little bit affected in the theater. And yeah, so I definitely wasn't expecting that, but I think that film, or that scene, was handled so beautifully. Their acting was amazing, and yeah, they really knocked that out of the park. And I had a feeling that you know, once I could tell that she was going to pass, that she was going to kind of have that "with great power comes great responsibility" line, and she basically did. I think it was like slightly different, like it added a word or something like that, but it was basically the same line. So I thought that was really good. And yeah, and seeing Ned with the ring, the sling ring, I think it's called. Um, that was crazy. Um, I wasn't expecting him to kind of have that kind of a major role in the movie. Obviously, he didn't fight any bad guys or anything, but he had, you know, he kind of had a major role of introducing the two other Spider-Men. And I had a feeling the moment that um, he was like, "Show me Peter Parker" or something like that. That was, or like, "Show me Peter." You know, I wish I could see where Peter was, or I wish I could see Peter, or something like that. I had a feeling that that was going to segue into somehow into introducing a Spider-Man, and lo and behold, we get to see Andrew Garfield. And apparently, it's an unpopular opinion, but I really liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and so I was really happy to see him throughout this movie. And of course, we got Tobey Maguire back, and that was just amazing. That was so good. And then them all meeting together, you know, having that talk with Tom Holland, Spider-Man, having that talk with him, and them just, you know, being there for him, and offering that advice. I thought that was really, really well done. Um, and yeah, I mean, you know, the moving past that, you know, it was just, I feel like the rest of the movie was just near perfect. I don't know why I'm saying near, because in my heart it felt very perfect. But yeah, it just, you know, I loved the movie, the way that they handled it. That kind of chemistry lab scene where they're, you know, working on the cures for each person, and then and everything. It just, and that kind of, not really banter, but just that kind of conversation of like, between Toby and Andrew. Andrew was like, "Yeah, so do you have somebody?" And he's like, "Yeah, you know, it's complicated, but you know, basically we made it work, me and MJ." And then they both look at the younger MJ there, and he's like, "No, no, 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 my MJ." I thought that was hilarious. Um, and yeah, I mean, moving to basically the big final battle. Um, you know, and actually, what I'm gonna say is that fight scene in the condo, in Happy's condo, that really threw me off, because I felt like that was going to be like the end of the movie. Like, I felt like nothing really surprised me up to that point. I mean, mainly because everything was already shown in the trailers up to that point. And so when that fight scene happened, and I looked at the clock, and it was like an hour and a half into the movie or something like that, and I was like, we still got another hour here. Like, what's going to go on? And so that really surprised me that that happened kind of basically midway in the movie. But it really showed, you know, with Aunt May dying, that there was, you know, some motivation here, you know, moving forward. So basically, that final battle was amazing. Actually, right before that final battle, they're all talking on the Statue of Liberty, and they're having the most genuine conversation I've ever experienced in my entire life. And I loved that scene on so many levels. It was funny, it was heartwarming, but specifically, it felt very meta, because a lot of people don't like Andrew's Spider-Man. And so, you know, he was kind of talking down to himself, and you know, they both like paused for a second, and they were like, "No, no, no, dude, you're amazing. Like say it, you're amazing." And it just felt very, you know, it felt very meta, in the sense that, like, you know, they were talking so self-aware, and so they were addressing all the things that fans had to say, and they were just basically saying, you know, each of you, you're amazing in your own way. And so I loved that. But yeah, that final battle was crazy. I couldn't have imagined a better final battle, and the brutality uh between Tom Holland and the Green Goblin, I really felt that felt very earned. It felt very real, and I loved how they did that. And yeah, I mean, the way that they handled the whole final act was great. And the felt kind of message from Doctor Strange when he was like, you know, uh, basically, we're all gonna miss you, that sort of thing. Like, he didn't even mean to say we. I thought that was really good. And then, yeah, I wasn't expecting them to really follow through with that. Like, nobody knows really who Peter Parker is anymore. And, that translated to, like, dude's out of high school now. He's got to get his GED. He doesn't have a place to live because his aunt died. Um, like, he has to get his own job. And, I really felt that scene of him talking to MJ, and he didn't want to, like, he wanted to introduce himself to her, but he saw how happy she was, and he felt the weight of everybody that knows who Spider-Man is has experienced some great tragedy, some great, things that they had to deal with in their life. And so he didn't want to take away from that happiness, that kind of genuine happiness that she had there. So I'm sure that they're gonna, get together somehow in the future, or she's gonna at least know who he is in the future. I'm absolutely sure that that's what's gonna happen. But in the meantime, I really liked how they handled that. And that suit that he had, that he made at the end, we didn't really get to very clearly see it because it was while he was moving and swinging and everything. But that looked amazing, and I loved the shininess of it because it felt like a callback to Andrew Garfield. And so I feel like, even though I didn't get a good look at it, I feel like there's probably some sort of callback to Toby's suit somehow. But yeah, the whole movie was phenomenal. That's my favorite Spider-Man movie. It's probably my second favorite MCU movie, just barely behind Endgame. Um, and that my thoughts might change on that. It might be my favorite MCU movie after seeing it for a while, but yeah, I mean, it was just phenomenally, beautifully well done, and really just really thrilled that they put so much heart into it, because it really could have been a movie very simply about, three Spider-Men get together and all their villains get, they have to beat all the villains, and it could have been done with less heart, and it would have been an okay movie. Like, it would have been like, like an 8 out of 10 or like a 7 out of 10 movie. And some of the more heartfelt, the diehard fans would have been upset about that. But the fact that they went the extra mile to have that, like, kind of meta scene with them on the Statue of Liberty, and they're kind of talking about just in general, like, hey, you're a great Spider-Man, and you're doing great doing you, sort of thing, like, don't feel bad, whatever. Not specifically to Andrew. Like, I feel like they also did some stuff for Toby as well, and definitely kind of passed off the torch, or at least, made Tom Holland felt that he was capable, in his own right. So, like, they each had their moments. But yeah, the fact that they did that scene, and the fact that they just had so much heart in it, and the way that they handled Aunt May's death, and the relevance and the strength of it, like, I think that was just really well done. And they just went that extra mile, just in my book, it made it a 10 out of 10. So yeah. Anyways, guys, that's my thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home. And the title too, the title makes so much sense now. Now understanding that, he kind of has no way home. He has no way back to that feeling of what he had before with, Aunt May and everyone. So I think that was really good how they did that. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. Peace.